Rap music is, we talked about that this afternoon in chapel, and you want to talk about tense. This atmosphere got real tense in here. That's because rap has a grip on the minds of young people. Let me read just a couple of things for you. You talk about rebellion. This is the worst of all so far. There's a song called Cop Killer by Ice-T. It was on 1991 Body Count album. Sold 300,000 copies. And it says, I got my shotgun, I got my 12-gauge sawed off, I got my headlights turned off, I'm about to bust some shots off, I'm about to dust some cops off, die, pig, die. Now, it doesn't matter what you think about LAPD. Without them, you've got anarchy. That's all there is to it, brother, sister. Yeah, corruption in the police force, sure there is. There's corruption everywhere because it's a corrupt world. Can't get any justice, that's right. But Jesus Christ, a perfect judge. He'll set it all right. Trust him. But in the meantime, without those boys in blue, you think you've got trouble now. That's the only thing standing between us and total chaos and anarchy in this country. Listen to this. A man who killed a state trooper during a routine traffic stop shot the man because he was influenced by the violent anti-police rap music he'd been listening to, his lawyer told a jury. Before the killing, Tanner had driven 120 miles from Houston to Victoria listening to gangster rap, a genre of rap that focuses on drugs, sex, violence, and a hatred for police. Here's one more song. It's called Blank the Police. It says, pulling out a silly club so you stand with a fake badge and a gun in your hand. Take off the gun so you can see what's up, and we'll go at it, punk. And I'm blanking you up. I'm a sniper with a scope, taking out a cop or two without a gun and a badge. What do you got? A sucker in a uniform waiting to get shot. How many millions of young people you think are listening to that stuff out there? And then you wonder why. Riots and chaos and hatred. Let's go to the next one, please. Satanism is the ultimate rebellion. And that's where this whole thing has led after 40 years. Starting with people like Little Richard and Elvis, and it's come right full circle to worship of Satan. That's what it was about. Next one, please. There are so many of these satanic bands out there, and they're teaching the young people how to do ritual, how to contact devils, how to do the whole thing from the music. They never have to go to a coven to get it. They get it straight from the music, and they're inducted later. Next one, please. This is the look today. Have you seen this out on the streets? Where people look like they're walking dead, and they want to be vampires? And some of them are vampires. There's people that have written books. We saw one of these women on the Jenny Jones show a couple years ago. Vampire. Vampire rights is what they were asking for. I want the right to drink people's blood. Here's some lyrics to some of this stuff. The Antichrist by Slayer. Quote, I am the Antichrist. It's what I was meant to be. Your God left me behind and set my soul to be free. Watching disciples of the satanic rule. Pentagram of blood. Christ hasn't come. Awaiting the final moment, the birth of Satan's son. Let's go to the next one, please. There's a group called Pantera, which are real big. And the last time I was in this school, there were people that were defending it. They said, what do you think about Pantera? They like them. Okay. Listen to these lyrics. Quote, driven and burning to rise beyond Jesus. I'm born again with snake's eyes, becoming God's size. I of suicide, I the unlord. I'm born again with snake's eyes. That's what young people in your school are listening to and defending. Let's go to the next one, please. This is the result of 35 years of rebellion right here. You can't tell the men from the women. They all worship rock and roll. Next one, please. Here's what young people look like today. Next one, please. By the way, when they make these horrific faces, and they roll around on the floor of the stage, and they jump like somebody just put a firecracker down the backside of their pants, is that an act? No, it's demonic possession. They're possessed of devils, and it hurts, and it shows on their faces. Those devils in those bodies hurt. They came in through rebellion and the worship of the idol of rock and roll. Next one, please. This is what young people look like today. Next one, please. Demon possession. Next one, please. You want to know what? That's the Christian rockers. These are the Christian rockers now. Oh, there's no rebellion in Christian rock, is there? Do you realize that there were Christian artists 6 months ago that did a special compact disc to salute the Beatles? That was Phil Keaggy and Susan Ashton and a group called PFR, and they got all kinds of press for it. They said, wonderful. That's before the Beatles anthology ever came out. The Christian rockers beat them to the punch. Worship the Beatles. Let's go to the next one, please. Christian rockers. You don't see any rebellion in these pictures, do you? Next one, please. There's no rebellion here in Christian rock, is there? Next one, please. Oh, by the way, Stryper broke up, and here's what Michael Sweet of Stryper said. Now, that's Robert, but here's what Michael Sweet of Stryper said. He said, quote, "The big difference between Against the Law and the older albums was a change in attitude. We were still Christians, but we wanted to come across like rebels." Christian rebellion, right? We wanted to come across like rebels. We were angry. Here's what Gene Simmons of KISS said, quote, "Survival's got to do with believing in yourself, period. People are going to tell you you can't do this, you can't do that. They can all blank themselves collectively. You don't need those people around, and that includes your parents. If people aren't supporting you, they are your enemies." There was a song by KISS called Tomorrow and Tonight. It says, listen to the teacher, bosses, and the preacher ain't never done nobody good. You better listen to the preacher, because he's showing you the way to life. He's showing you the difference between life and death. If he's right with God, if he's just showing you what the book says, that's all a preacher does, just tells you what God said, just stirs up your remembrance, says it ain't done nobody good. Let's go to the next one, please. David Lee Roth made millions, and by the way, that guy lives somewhere in California. You know what? If you were to throw out all the rock stars and all the weirdos and all the perverts of California, I wonder how many people would be left. Well, I won't guess. He lives in California. Most of them live in California. I don't know why they like it here so much. Here's what he says, quote, "I threw off my parents super early. They sent me to a child guidance clinic when I was 7. So I disposed of all those vestiges of society way back. No guilt. Whatever it was, I just wasn't ashamed of it. That's what really threw them." Brother, sister, without any guilt, the heart's hard and the conscience is seared as with a hot iron. There's no hope. The end of that road is hell. Next one, please. Up through the 70s, here's what Alice said. Quote, "That's the main basis of the whole group anyway. Rebellion. We get letters all the time saying, my parents won't let me listen to your albums, and my parents won't let me see you. They really look to us as their anti-heroes because their parents hate us so much. We're their defense. That's what we want." Next one, please. By the way, Alice is still out there. Next one, please. John Cougar Mellencamp. Now, he's not heavy metal. He doesn't have flames and snakes. Listen to this, quote, "I hate schools, governments, and churches." Brother, sister, it doesn't matter whether it's metal, whether it's pop, or whether it's rock, or whether it's rap, or whether it's Christian versions of all that stuff. They're teaching the same thing, which is rebellion. And rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Next one, please. Come up into the 80s. Here's what Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses says, quote, "I don't like boundaries of any kind. I don't like being told what I can and what I can't say." He's got a song called My World. Here's what it says. You want to know what these geniuses are producing? Listen to these lyrics. "You want to step into my world? It's a socio-psychotic state of bliss. I want to laugh myself to death. With a misfired synapse, with a bent configuration, I'll hold the line while you gasp for breath." That's demonic prophecy coming right out of the mouth of these people. Their brains and minds are so twisted, their spirits are so burnt. Quote from Axl Rose, quote, "I always wonder if like somebody's going to slide the knife underneath my eye and give me a lobotomy. I think about that a lot." Let's go to the next one, please. Madonna has made so many multiplied millions of dollars we couldn't even count them. Couldn't spend it in your lifetime. Here's what she says, quote, "The point is to feel comfortable with yourself and whatever you want to do, whether it be with another man, be with another woman, be with 3 people, be alone, whatever. You shouldn't feel shame about it." Next one, please. "I have a lot of sexual fantasies about women. I enjoy being with women, but by and large I'm most fulfilled by being with a man." Is lesbianism rebellion against God? Yes. Is Madonna a lesbian? Yes, she just said so. She said, "I have a lot of sexual fantasies about women. I enjoy being with women." By the way, should you feel shame about sin? Yeah. God put shame on us for a reason. The problem is we have a generation that can't blush. They don't know what shame is anymore. Young people are cursing like hardened criminals. They've lost all their innocence. You've got 13-year-old girls having babies and abortions. It's because they have absorbed this rebellious lie for the better part of 35 years. Next one, please. up into the 70s and the 80s, Ozzy Osbourne had a song called You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. Next one, please. It says, "'Cause rock and roll is my religion and my law." Might think it's strange. I'll never change. You can't kill rock and roll. It's here to stay. Next one, please. Here's a quote from Michael Jackson. "I must endure for the power I was sent forth, for the world, for the children." He says there's a power that sent him forth for the children. You want to hear the kicker on this thing? Michael Jackson received an award not 6 months ago. 100,000 young people on the East Coast voted him as best role model for young people. Can you believe it? Best role model for young people. Let's go to the next one, please. One more, please. Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. One of the last songs that Kurt Cobain wrote. Anybody know the title before he died? "I hate myself and I want to die." Now how's that for some rebellion? I've got 10 million albums, I've got a wife, I've got a child, I'm famous, everybody loves me, and I hate myself and I want to die. And then he blew his head off with a shotgun. That's where this thing ends up, this rebellion.